Till today, we can announce that 4,800 pieces already arrived peacefully and safe to the museum.
One of the most intriguing things about ancient Egypt is that it is shrouded in terrifying mysteries. Indeed, it never fails to leave everyone, including scientists, with numerous questions. And recently, things have gotten pretty wild, with archaeologists making more astonishing discoveries about the enigmatic land. Prepare to be amazed as we unveil 12 new finds in Egypt that have left scientists shivering. Number 1. The legendary Book of the Dead. You will probably be familiar with this mysterious book if you have seen the 1999 movie titled The Mummy. The film used the book to raise from the dead Imhotep, the cursed high priest. You would think the book's existence is a myth, but the truth is far from that. Recently, archaeologists have discovered a 52-foot-long scroll known as the Waxiri Scroll. It is filled with ancient hieroglyphics and drawings from the legendary Book of the Dead. In the book, inscriptions that carried long-forgotten knowledge of the afterlife were found. The Book of the Dead is a highly valued collection of texts containing significant spells that help a deceased person navigate the afterlife. It was written by several priests over 1,000 years ago and has been used since the New Kingdom, with its spells written on coffins and other funerary materials used to bury the dead. Scholars have verified that the Waxiri Scroll contains a spell from the Book of the Deceased. More interestingly, this is the first time a complete papyrus has been found in an entire century. According to Mostafa Waxiri, Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities Secretary General, this is a big deal. Now that the papyrus has been discovered, Waxiri has assured the public that it would be available at the Grand Museum in Cairo this year. Number 2. A mysterious pyramid. You must already know that Egypt is the place of the Great Pyramids, a wonder of the ancient world. But it turns out that not all is known about the pyramids of Egypt. The land is already a land of numerous mysteries. Still, scientists couldn't believe it when they discovered a new pyramid structure in Saqqara, a few kilometers away from Cairo. This new discovery was sure to send shockwaves across the archaeological world, as it is believed to have belonged to an ancient queen who was never recorded in history, thus creating the potential to rewrite history and change our understanding of ancient Egyptian royalty. But that is not all. Along with this discovery, scientists recovered about 300 coffins belonging to royalties in ancient times. On close examination, each coffin presented a unique face, differentiating those belonging to males from those belonging to females. Other than this, the coffins also had names on them. They also had scenes from the Book of the Dead, and most of them were found by the 4 sons of Horus, who stood as protectors of their organs. In the coffin of the queen who owned the newly discovered pyramid, there was a mask made of pure gold, and thankfully, it had her name, Neith. Though buried with so much grace, Queen Neith remains an untapped mystery that scientists are still investigating.
My opinion is the most important discovery on the 21st century.
The results will change everything we know about the history of Egypt. Number 3. Mask of Tutankhamun. With the discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb in recent times, many magnificent discoveries have emerged, and one of the most mind-blowing of them is the funerary mask of Tutankhamun himself. After being buried for over 3,000 years, this mask has captured the attention of scientists and is said to be the technical and highest artistic accomplishment of the ancient Egyptians in the New Kingdom. The mask is fantastic for many reasons, but one of them is how it gracefully and accurately portrays the facial features of the teenage king. The reason for this is also enjoyable. The mask is made to look just like Tutankhamun so that his mummy can be recognized by the soul, who will later reoccupy it and ensure his resurrection. The mask was found worn on the head of Tut's mummy and is said to have been activated by a magical spell from the Book of the Dead. Number 4. Unwrapped Mummy of Amenhotep. One of the rich qualities of the Egyptians hinges on preserving their dead. Because of this quality, you will still find very old mummies from different times well held in Egypt. For most regions, it is almost impossible to attach legendary names and significant historical figures to a tomb. However, in ancient Egyptian, it will amaze you what's possible. Recently, scientists have been intrigued by a discovery involving the unwrapped mummy of Amenhotep, which is over 3,500 years old. The mummy was discovered in 1881 but has been unwrapped since then. It was found in Deir el-Bahari Royal Cache in Luxor, where it was reburied secretly to hide it from robbers. It was a remarkable find, but intrigue seems to have heightened with scientists recently finding a way to digitally unwrap the mummy, revealing astonishing secrets. From the digital unwrapping, scientists have ascertained the ancient pharaoh's age, height, and facial features, which gets more interesting as we delve into the details. The condition of his bones showed that he was about 35 years old when he died. Researchers also pointed out that he had the physical features of his father, which included a narrow chin and nose, upper teeth that protrude a little, and curly hair, which were still found on the mummy's skull. Scientists had been unable to unwrap this mummy for fear of damaging the remains. Still, this mind-blowing discovery has been made thanks to the new digital way out. Number 5. The Erotic Papyrus again. With archeologists constantly digging into the mysteries of ancient Egypt, we find that all the scary and mysterious stuff like mummies, the pyramids, and even gods are not there in the ancient land. The land also seems to have had a great interest in art, and it gets more interesting to find out that erotic art was also present at that time. We can say this because of the recent discovery of the Turin Erotic Papyrus, also known as the Erotic Papyrus of Turin Papyrus. This scroll painting is found to be covered with 12 erotic scenes between men and women. The papyrus measures about 8.5 feet or 2.6 meters by 10 inches or 25 centimeters. It was discovered in the 19th century and has since been an object of many speculations. The papyrus is actually divided into two segments. The first third of the scroll shows different animals performing various human tasks in a satirical form. But that is not all. Proceeding to the remaining 2/3 of the scroll, we find the erotic scenes of a male and female in different mating positions. The men in the painting were, however, strangely uglified, being all short, overweighted, bald-headed, with exaggeratedly large genitals. The women, on the other hand, were nubile, also holding various objects known to be from traditional erotic iconographies. They also had items known to be associated with Hathor, the goddess of love, like the lotus flower, monkeys, and sisters. The Turin Papyrus is said to be the only surviving of its kind. It is now kept at Museo Egizio in Turin, Italy. The real purpose of this scroll painting is not really known, as some believe it is somewhat satirical instead of stirring up erotic feelings. Whatever the case may be, scientists are sure that the Turin Papyrus was created for the aristocrats of the time, judging from its high quality. Number 6. Osiris Tomb. Now, when it comes to Osiris, things are slightly more enjoyable because this time, we are not dealing with a man, but an Egyptian god. Osiris is a prominent figure in ancient Egyptian mythology. It is currently considered the god of the afterlife, the underworld, and fertility. But before this, Osiris had experienced some tragedy. According to the myth, Osiris was murdered by his brother Seth, who was jealous of Osiris's rule. Following this, Osiris's body was dismembered into 14 pieces and scattered to different places to stop him from resurrecting. However, his wife Isis collected the parts, creating a shrine where she found them. Osiris is now considered to be the ruler of the underworld. Following this, it remains a significant part of ancient Egyptian mythology. But what did archaeologists find about Osiris? Recently, a Spanish-Italian team of archaeologists discovered a strange tomb in And El Khor necropolis. From observations, the tomb was built during the 25th or 26th dynasty between 750 BC and 535 BC. The discovered tomb was strange and unique, as it had features similar to the famous Osiris tomb at Abydos's Temple of Seti I, also called Osirion. Based on these similarities, the tomb is considered one of Osiris's tombs. The discovered tomb is said to be a complex with many chambers. However, a central hall in it seems to be a temple featuring the statue of Osiris. After this, we see a funerary chamber displaying brandished knives belonging to relief guardian demons. Following this, a staircase goes 19 meters deep, leading to 2 iron chambers covered with debris. Not many believe that the tomb is really for Osiris. However, investigations are ongoing, and who knows what is possible. Number 7. A pit filled with human hands. In the magnificent Egyptian land expanse, no one warned the archaeologists beforehand when they stumbled upon something terrifying. Here, they discovered only 16 human hands in 4 different pits. 2 pits had 2 hands and were found in front of the Hyksos Palace, now regarded as the Tel El Daba. As for the other 14 hands, they were found in 2 other pits in the palace compound. Strangely, the hands were only right hands, making things even more suspicious. This discovery was the first of its kind. It was made jointly by the Australian Archaeological Institute, the Cairo branch, and the Austrian Academy of Sciences. Based on research into the findings, the hands were about 3,500 years old and seemed to come from a practice where the right hand of a pharaoh's enemy is cut off and presented to the pharaoh in return for gold. This is the first physical evidence of this tradition and remains terrifying for scientists. The explanation of the hands in a pit was derived from a writing on the tomb wall belonging to Amos, the son of Ibana. The writing was made about 80 years after the hands had been buried, and it reads, "Then I fought hand to hand. I brought away a hand. It was reported to the royal herald. For his efforts, the writer was given the gold of valor. The pit's hands had been buried when the Hyksos people ruled about half of Egypt. Still, then, the exact origin of this tradition is not known. It could have been brought in by the Hyksos people or imbibed from the Egyptians, who were also not friendly with prisoners. More investigations are still needed to ascertain the truth of the matter. But what do you think about this tradition? Number 8, 2,600 years. Egyptian priest mummy towards the end of 2023, about 59 sarcophagi found to be thousands of years old were unearthed in Saqqara necropolis. Since then, scientists have been amazed by the identities of these mummies in ancient times. Recently, one of these coffins, said to be about 2,600 years old, was opened, leaving scientists astonished. Right before a crowd of onlookers, the sarcophagi was opened. On opening the coffins, a mummy was wrapped in an ornate linen. Surprisingly, a lot about the mummy remained intact, despite being buried for thousands of years. The inscriptions on the clothes and colorful designs were all still intact, as though they were new, but that is not all. The coffin was found to date back to the 26th dynasty, between 664 and 525 BC, and is said to belong to a priest named Priest Badi Amun. From the site where this sarcophagus was found, other coffins also belonged to government officials and were highly placed in society. Other significant artifacts were also found, including 28 statues of God, Ptah Soker, and a bronze and a foot-tall sculpture of god Nefertum. Number 9. The Shabti of Suez. One exciting aspect of the culture of ancient Egyptians that has caught the attention of all in recent times is their usage of what is called Shabti in their funerary practices. A Shabti, also known as a Shawabti or Ushabti, is a small figurine crucial to ancient Egyptian funerary practices. This is because they were believed to be miniature laborers meant to work for the deceased in the afterlife. They are generally mummy-form figures, ranging from 5 to 30 centimeters in height, and made from various materials including wood, stone, clay, faience, a glazed ceramic, and even metal or glass. They are often depicted as male figures, but some represent females or specific professions. Interestingly, some hold tools like hoes, picks, or baskets, symbolizing their readiness for manual labor. Shabtis are usually placed in tombs to answer the call of Osiris, the underworld god, to do any manual work required in the afterlife. This work could include farming, irrigation, or other tasks deemed necessary for the deceased's continued well-being in the beyond. The number of Shabtis varies for a deceased person, but in some cases the dead might have hundreds, even one, for every day of the year. An excellent example of the discovery of this figurine in recent times is the Shabti of Suez, a chief steward and scribe, which is now kept in the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Number 10. The Space Dagger. While space exploration and understanding might be relatively new experiences that have come to be in modern times, Egypt is mysterious enough to have been not only aware of space, but also found ways to maximize its resources. Surprisingly, scientists have discovered a strange dagger made up of metals from a meteorite. The knife was found in Pharaoh Tutankhamen's tomb, and he was buried more than 3,300 years ago. Scientists were astounded when they found out the truth about this dagger, that it was of an extraterrestrial origin. The discovery was made by taking the knife through a non-invasive X-ray to confirm what it was made up of. Following this, the presence of nickel was found in the dagger. There was also iron alongside the nickel and cobalt. After ascertaining the dagger's composition, it was compared to meteorites around the Red Sea coast of Egypt. They found a match with a meteorite about 150 miles west of Alexandria. Amazingly, the ancient Egyptians were Egyptians, and these meteorites were otherworldly. Their ability to construct such a fine dagger from it showed a great mastery of iron. The dagger embodies beautiful features, such as a gold handle with a floral pattern on one side and a feathery pattern on the other. The dagger can now be accessed in the Egyptian Museum in Cairo. Number 11. Bull Pallet. Another magnificent discovery by archeologists regarding ancient Egyptian artifacts in recent times is the bull pallet. The bull pallet is a fragment of a more extensive cosmetic pallet made of greywacha, a type of sedimentary rock. It dates back to Naqada III, the final 2 centuries of the 4th millennium BC, just before the beginning of the early dynastic period. The bull pallet was found in Abydos, an ancient city and necropolis in Upper Egypt in the 20th century, and has been a marvel to scientists since it was discovered by French archaeologist Émile Amélinot during his excavations at the El Ghaab Royal Cemetery. The material from which it was made is unknown. While one part was found, the other was missing. Despite being only a fragment, the pallet is highly significant for 2 reasons. The first is its intricate carvings. The 2 sides of the pallet are decorated with detailed low-relief scenes. One side depicts a triumphant bull trampling upon the king's enemies, while the other shows a fortified city and hunting scenes. These carvings offer valuable insights into the symbolism, warfare, and daily life of the pre-dynastic period in Egypt. The second reason why the bull pallet is significant is its artistic style. The style of the carvings on the bull pallet is unique and transitional, showcasing both pre-dynastic influences and characteristics that would later become prominent in early dynastic art. This makes it a crucial piece for understanding the development of Egyptian art. The bull pallet is currently housed in the Louvre Museum in Paris, France, where it can be viewed by the public. Number 12. Meteorite Beads. This is one of the magnificent finds discovered in Tutankhamun's tomb and has become a sensational find. These beads, made from iron meteorite known as kamacite, are the oldest known extraterrestrial objects ever found in archaeology. They date back to the 14th century BC. Their presence in a pharaoh's tomb suggests that the ancient Egyptians saw meteorites as incredibly significant. The beads were in a small jewelry box in the tomb's antechamber. They are strung on a gold wire, and each bead is about the size of a pea. Some beads are plain, while others are decorated with incised patterns. The discovery of the meteorite beads sparked great interest in studying meteorites. Scientists were eager to learn more about the composition and origin of these objects and how they came to be in the possession of the ancient Egyptians. It is believed that the meteorites used to make the beads came from a fall in the western desert of Egypt sometime in the early Bronze Age. The Egyptians may have collected the meteorites because they believed they were magical or sacred objects. What do you think about these discoveries? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video, ensure to like, share, and subscribe for more.